test. Okay, so whenever we will have the low score student, okay, so what we will get, okay, so to the however, sometimes it will happen that even if the student has prepared, maybe due to one or another reason, like maybe express properly, the student will get the low score. So ultimately, whatever will be the reason, the low score getting very less marks, and we are highly disappointed. We are getting disappointed. It's not a verdict. Okay, this is any test. Remember, is not always the verdict. We are going to talk about the low score in the mock test or the regular examination in the school. We are not talking about the final test. Okay, so let's talk about with the mock test. Okay, and if we stand like this, where we are going to end up? Okay, so you understand, suppose if your word get a very so, so student, it was rejected by the 12 publisher. What makes them very good is that they haven't stopped trying. Okay, so even if you get the low score in your terms or periodics or even in the mock test, please don't get disheartened. Okay, you have to remember that your preparation was partial. It is not meant to be in the top side, right? So if you consider this point that your preparation was only not very good, then consider this point that your preparation was only not very good, then this is a very good news. This is a very good news. Why this is very good news? Okay, so student, if you are why this is very good news? Okay, so student, if you are if your kid is getting, okay, so student, if your kid is getting very less score is telling you. So you have to first understand the scores. Okay, now let's start by understanding the score. Now marks out of 100, and there is one more student who is secured only 10 marks out of 100. So just look at this number and just ask yourself that what story it is has scored 50 out of 100. It shows that the student has done some good work, okay, good preparation. This is the best preparation and this is the least preparation. So this is the first inference. Okay, now this 50 and 90, this 50 can move easily to 91 90 score, but how? The person has to ask themselves that which section is weaker for them. If you're talking about a competitive exam like NEET, we have to know that which section or which subject is weaker. Very simple. Everybody knows that in which section or in which subject they are weak. So you have to just give more and more time to those subjects. Whereas the leap from 10 out of 100 to 50 or the 90 is the very toughest one. Okay, so this is very tough. After the self-analysis, student, how you can improve your score after your self-analysis? So you just, there is one approach, okay, like most of the student that are doing, and it is of no use. The student will undergo the anxiety. Okay, they will fear that they will have a low score. Okay, they will be sad, disappointed. Okay, but have you ever, this is general human feeling, but have you ever understood that what preparing, only thing that will save you is going to, even if you watch lots of inspiration videos, okay, it will inspire you for 1 minute. To these human feelings, they are not going to save you. You have to just make, so I will just tell my student how to overcome this. You have to prepare a mistake log. Okay, so after the examination, after you are done with all these emotions of anxiety, fear, sadness, and and disappointment. There are so many journals or many very good stationaries are available, so you can just buy and name the mistake logs. Now you have to write down your every error. Okay, so this realization that I am only responsible for my low score is a very best feeling. Student, what either because of your poor preparation, or you have a fear of any particular subject or topic. Okay, so just you have to tell yourself first that okay, this is my mistake. Okay, now then after making a mistake log, you have to understand, student, after noting down their mistakes, you have to understand that whether this mistake is a silly one, okay, or it's a serious one. Okay, it's a silly one, you can okay, okay, basic, basic. There are, number of that one score will not define my destiny, something like this, blah 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 blah. But however, it's a tool to help you grow. Okay, so don't ignore your scores. Okay, now this is all about getting the score. What does the score means to you and how it will help. Now let's talk about the important topic, that is the mind shift. Okay, so mindset shift. Okay, so now we are going to talk about growth over the perfection. Sheet, your entire life, whether it's a personal situation or it's a professional situation, it will just go away with one piece of advice or one thing, that is the mindset shift. Okay, now what do you mean by mindset shift? It is the growth over, you can see lots of in videos, talks, podcasts about the mindset shift, and this is the real game changer. Okay, so now let's talk about the mindsets. So there are, student, two types of mindset. Okay, the first one is the fixed type, and the second one is the growth type. Okay, so the mindset I already told you is of two types, the fixed mindset and the growth types. So fixed type mindset is very rigid type. So this kind of mindset people will always tell themselves that I'm not good at particularly this. Okay, what it will show, I'm not good. Okay, so this is the quality of the fixed mindset or the rigid mindset. Okay, however, there is another type of mindset, okay, that is the growth type, and this kind of growth mindset will always say I am not good. Okay, but at this yet I can improve it. Transit that I cannot do this, I can do this. Okay, but you have to fix with the growth type, and this is where the game will start. Okay, this will take lots of effort from moving on to fixed mindset to the growth type, and the growth type will say I will try again, I will improve. Okay, I will improve these mistakes, I have done the mistake. The rigid mindset will say I have done the mistake, but the growth type will say I have done it, but mistakes are my teacher. So they teach me that I do not have to do something which will harm my score. Okay. So you student, you have to be very kind to yourself. If your friend also get a low score, you have to increase them. Okay. You are encouraging it, right? If your friend is somebody in your family also go get the good marks again. So the neuroscience show that our brain will grow stronger and stronger when we struggle. Okay, so struggle, student, if you're struggling with a particular condition, student, okay, that is not in your favor, so how do you take it? You have to take it to yourself that this So if we talk about, okay, behavior, anything, then the sign, okay. Okay, so the test or test in your life is a challenge, or test in your life is a challenge to you. After challenge, okay, you will be more smarter. Okay, now reply. Okay, now let's prepare a comeback plan. Now we have to be very, if you want to make a recovery plan, you have to make a smart goal, student. This is very important. Okay, so S stand for specific, M stand for measurable, A is the achievable, R is the relevant, and T is the time bound. Okay, so student, you don't have to make yourself, okay, will that person will be topper? The answer will be halfway, yes. Or the 50% of goal is clear in the mind. However, that remaining 50 will depend upon the SMART goal. So what does the SMART means? It means the goal should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and the time bound. So the student should know that, suppose like there is a year, okay, and the end year end only the examination will occur, right? So the student has to prepare a where you will just, okay, you have to just always deal with one goal, I think. Then it should be measurable also, so you cannot wait for 12 years to become a topper, right? You have just 12 months. And it should be achievable, it should be relevant. Okay, now suppose if you are a student and you want to become a successful, preparing only, okay, you will not become, so first be the topper of class 8 and then you, so just make it time bound also. Now student, most of the students, they are weak in the subject, that is the math. Okay, so I will take the example of two kind of student. One student is a weak in math. Both student, okay, there are two students that are weak. Now one student, what he or she is trying to do, she will just read and practice whole 2 days before exam. Okay, and the another student, he or she knows that their exam, suppose the exams is in 2 months, right? So what do you think? Everybody knows the outcome. So the person who is preparing the 10, who is solving the 10 problems every day will be a good achiever in a long term run, single day. Act this. Now there are student and this technological errors, not error, era. There are so many good things like you have the flashcards, okay, you have the review sheets also, you have very good YouTube channels also, okay, yeah, that will help you in understanding a particular about the daily positivity practice. Important for the parents also, we have to always practice the gratitude. Okay, we have to visualize our success. Now what do you mean by the visualize your success, student? Now I will just, so we are talking about the daily positivity, student. I already told.